cosmic tales unfold. Join Power Maximus, Lord Triage, and the Darth Legacy Jason M40 on a journey through heroic realms where legends are born and destinies entwine. Delve into the cosmic currents, unraveling the mysteries of superheroes, villains, and champions. Embrace the cosmic energy that binds us all, and let your journey begin. This is the Super Breakdown Podcast. Enter the cosmic saga.
What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to the Super Breakdown Podcast. I'm Power Maximus. We are here with everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, and the Darth Legacy himself, Jason M40. What is up, y'all?
What's up?
Yo.
Man. Damn, it has been a week. I'm excited. I have this whole next week. I don't go back to work until the kids go back to school. I am excited. I have a whole week to get shit done that's been meaning to get done because I have a baby girl coming in the next few weeks. So I have so much shit that I have to get done. So I'm extremely busy this week. How has your guys' last week been? And more so, how have you guys been preparing for the holidays? Christmas is this week.
Bah humbug.
Oh man, but no, yeah, for real. How has you guys' week been?
Oh man, my week's been good. I picked up a new car, thank God. And I've been watching Christmas movies, so getting in the holiday spirit.
Right on, right on. What about you, Triage?
Listen, I'm full Grinch in this motherfucker, man.
Full Grinch in it?
Full Grinch.
Full Jim Carrey? Full Jim Carrey it?
I'm talking about shirt, shoes, hat, no pants.
Oh, man, that sounds smooth. Give me some. Let me grab my drink here. Good old spiked eggnog. You know, we are in the festive feels. Spiked eggnog with the usual, the good old Terramana tequila. I know you're supposed to spike eggnog with rum, but I didn't have my rum of choice available to me, so Terramana tequila would do because it's so smooth. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, please sponsor us. Let me take a sip real quick. Damn it, still too much tequila. It tastes way better than it did earlier. I'm already a little buzzed because I had to drink it. I had to drink the cup down in order to put more eggnog in it. So it wasn't like 50-50. And so I'm already a little buzzed. So you already know we're going to have a good show. But my week thus far has been good. My coming weeks are going to be a little hectic, like I said, with the baby coming. Doctor's appointments, and then the holidays with Christmas as well as New Year's. So I'm gonna be super busy. So I'm telling you, I'm giving y'all a heads up. Like after January, y'all gonna hear me. I'm gonna be doing a show with a baby in my arms. I'm gonna be rocking the baby, so y'all gonna probably hear some whining and crying as I'm doing the show.
Hey
I'm
man,
dedicated
that's
to this
okay.
show.
That is okay.
Oh, I'm so damn excited. But no, yeah. So shit, it's been all right for me. It's been all right for me. Life's been lifing like it's lifing for all. But nah, today we have an interesting episode. Going back through a lot of our episodes over the past 3 years. Shout out to making 3 years last week. Shout out to making 3 years. Whoop whoop. But over the last 3 years, I noticed that we've been rocking on a lot of Marvel characters. We've definitely done some DC characters here and there. We've done some, some other, comic book characters as well, plus our interviews and stuff like that. But so we just so we've been thinking to really kind of like work on more DC characters. And I don't know about anybody else, but I enjoy DC villains more than I enjoy DC heroes. So today we are going to be going in. We're going to be going in and break it down. The one, the only, the Bane of humanity, DC's Bane. We're going to be going over multiple incarnations of him, our thoughts, what they could have did better. We're going to be diving into his backstory, his origins, and then where he is now in the comics, or at least the last time we knew. And then going forward into what we would like to see from him in the future, especially with what is his name? James Gunn rebooting the with his own DCEU. I do definitely want to touch on real quick. I definitely want to touch on our thoughts of the Superman Legacy trailer. I want to touch on that real quick. Well, we can do that at the end. We'll talk about that. We can talk about that at the end. But as y'all know, if y'all been watching this for a while, certain episodes are me, certain episodes are Jay or whoever else we have on. But then there's certain episodes that are kind of like triage episodes that it all depends on who knows more about the character that we're talking about or the content that we're talking about. And for this, triage knows more than than us other two. So triage, for old time's sake, take it away. Bane.
So Bane shall be forever known as the man who broke the bat. Bane is one of the few people who have actually been notoriously known for beating Batman in a straight up fight. And the fact that he did that right there speaks volumes to his character.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because every time we talk about Batman and see Batman, he's always coming out on top. He's always winning. We've talked about, we did that, the versus battle between the Robins and, their later incarnations and against the Turtles. We've gone on about, Batman versus other characters. Did we do, was it Green Arrow versus Hawkeye or Green Arrow versus Batman?
Green Arrow versus Batman.
Green Arrow versus Batman. We've gone over that, and a lot of the times Batman has come out on top, especially with majority of his versus battles. He's coming out on top. But as we all know, fuck prep time. That's all I got to say about that. That fuck prep time. I'm just saying there ain't no goddamn way this motherfucker is taking out somebody who has literally had centuries to plan some shit. There's no way he's taking out characters like Vandal Savage.
Darkseid.
Yeah, that's true. Darkseid.
But I have to say that and even then, the only way he's actually ever beat Darkseid, because he's never beat Darkseid. I mean, he gave Darkseid hands once, but to actually, the times that he's actually bested Darkseid has been a battle of the minds and battle of the will. When he's come to Darkseid's like, oh, what? You ain't got no powers. Fuck you gonna do? So I rigged this entire place to blow up and self-destruct and kill everyone inside, unless you give me the code to stop it. He's like, you won't. You won't. Nigga said, you want to try me? My number one thing is the mission, and I will sacrifice anyone and anything to complete the mission. Do you want to play?
The mission. Yeah, all right. That's a story he's telling. Yeah, so Batman's okay with committing genocide as long as it's not human beings. I have a hard time believing that. He wouldn't have blew up Apocalypse. He ain't got that big dick energy like that. But
apparently not. I just heard of a story of some fucking extra dimensional being essentially kidnapping Batman, kidnapping Bruce in his sleep, and bringing him into another dimension. And then Bruce meets him, and he's like, the being is like, I'm a destroyer of worlds, this and that. Tell me why I shouldn't destroy your world. And essentially he says, because if you hurt me, my friends, my family, or the people of Earth, I will come back and kill you. And
Yeah.
essentially saying, because I'm Batman, bitch. That's why you shouldn't destroy Earth.
Listen, I want to hear about
Apparently,
plot. I don't want to hear about that plot armor. I'm Batman.
So essentially,
fuck Batman.
I'm Batman.
I say that shit the way a Laker says fuck Boston. Fuck Batman.
Yo. Savage.
That man put all his heart and soul into that. Oh my god, he put his soul into that shit. Fuck Batman. Fuck that nigga over there. But that's why Bane resonates with me so much, because like you said, he is notorious for beating the Bat on a regular basis. Like, if you were to look at it, like, he beats the Bat like majority of the time. At least in their first run in, like, let's say Bane's doing some shit, and Batman runs down on him, Bane beats him the first time around. Batman literally has to recover, go back to the crib, go back to the drawing board, and figure shit out again, and figure out a way to beat Bane. But yeah, so let's get into Bane's origins. Who is Bane?
So Bane is actually the product of the worst type of system and the worst one of the worst parts of the world. So Bane's story actually doesn't even begin with him. Bane's story begins with his father. Bane's father was a revolutionary who tried to, I don't want to use the word coup, but he planned to overthrow the government, which he felt was corrupt in the area in which he lived. And in the process of happening, he failed and was sentenced to life in prison. Now, he wound up fleeing before he could actually physically be sentenced and carried out. But the government was so corrupt, they deemed that the sentence had to pass to his son. And they never actually say how old Bane is when he gets sent to the prison. The prison is on Santa Prisca. No. And it's like, but they never actually say how old he is. I always took it that he was somewhere between 2 and 4.
Oh, what the fuck?
Well, he was a child, so
yeah.
Damn, it's not even like he was like 10, 11 or like preteen.
Nah. He was little, and when he gets sent to the prison, when he's getting walked in by the guards, the warden saw him and went, "This little kid is going to be the bane of my existence."
Ah.
So it's like he knew. He just took one look at him, and he was like, he knew that this was going to be nothing but trouble. So Bane literally spends the first few years of his term in solitary confinement.
Makes sense. One, because he's a child. So
his psyche is like completely different from the get-go.
But the whole thing was that it never limited his growth or his personality. So when he first starts mingling in Gen Pop, Bane's is 8 years old, and Bane had a bear that he took everywhere with him. The bear's name was Oso, and no matter where Bane was, Bane had Oso. He believed Oso was his only friend, and it's like how you would see him holding Oso or talking with Oso, and it's like how all the inmates took notice to that. So he noticed one day that there was an inmate at the end of his tier who was constantly trying to get Bane to come into a cell.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and Bane was smart enough to stay away from him. So he realized that there was inmates that paid him no attention, then there was inmates that paid him too much attention.
Damn, we did it at the same time.
I'm gonna leave this
Oh,
candy
damn.
on your pillow.
Right.
Ooh,
So
piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
when Bane's
It's
8
not. It's
years
not. It's
old,
nothing but a white van.
so when Bane's 8 years old, he's in the mess hall. He's in line for his food, and that same inmate who's at the end of his tier takes Oso from him, and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing? What are you willing to do to get your bear back?" So
Hey, yo.
right,
Oh boy.
so he turns the bear over and realizes that there's a hole in his back. He thought he broke it when he took it from him. So he goes, "It looks like I broke your toy." And before he can finish the sentence, Bane jumps up, grabs him by the front of his shirt, and stabs him to death with a knife he kept in Oso's back.
Hey.
That's funny.
And that's a Oso right there.
Yeah, like literally
That's a oh
stabbed him
no.
dozens of times. So he literally takes the blade, wipes it off on the inmate's shirt, puts it back in his bear, and goes, "Anybody else want to touch my bear?" He takes his food, takes the inmate he just killed food, goes sits down and eat.
Wow.
See, now, if I was a criminal in a prison like that, and I just saw an 8-year-old boy do some shit like that, that 8-year-old boy is about to be the most respected, the most loved, and feared and revered child to me. I'm like, I want him as my best friend. I want him as my best friend. That child is going places. He is doing things with his life.
But this was the wild part. So once he did that, he got put back in solitary, and it's like he got put in this fucking hole at the bottom of the prison, which filled whenever whenever the tide was high. So he damn near had to drown. He damn near or it became scorching in the heat. And it's like while he was in that cell, he realized he's like, you know what? I'm in a lion's den. So it's like they're about to find out that I'm the baddest predator in here. So he literally completely took that time in solitary and completely changed his view on things. He was like, he's either going to be a victim or a victimizer. So it literally got to the point where it's like he's going to craft himself into the apex predator of his environment. It was literally to the point where if he wasn't reading or sleeping, he was working out, push-ups, pull-ups, dips. He was doing cardio. It got to the point where he actually trained himself to the point where he didn't even need to sleep. He could meditate for 2 or 3 hours and completely have himself revitalized.
Yeah,
sounds like some Sith Lord shit to me.
That's funny.
Like it was straight lethal type shit. And the other thing that was cool is that Bane realized that the prison had a contraband system and stuff was getting smuggled in. So while other inmates would have porn, drugs, weapons, Bane had books smuggled in
to increase his intellect.
And he literally read everything that wasn't nailed down. So by the time he was a teenager, he could speak several different languages. He was a trained escape artist. He had mastered several different fighting styles. He knew the principles and aspects of several different religions. Knew all about culture, philosophy, and basically gave himself a master's level degree while being in a prison cell.
Damn.
That goes to show you
he used his time wisely.
Yeah, that goes to show you his drive.
Serious, absolutely. Oh my god, that's wild.
Yeah, so by the time he was 14, he was the self-proclaimed king of the prison that killed over a dozen inmates and basically ran it.
By what age?
By the time he was 14.
14? That's wild.
He must have been brolic.
Well, he stands sick. He's 6'8", 350.
Jesus.
As an adult or at
Yeah.
14?
Nah, as an adult. So it's like he wasn't
I
no
was about
small
to say.
kid.
Yeah, that's true. If you're that
sound
big as an adult, you're going to be a huge kid.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, he sounds pretty desolate to me.
Right. And his whole thing was like, yo, it literally got to the point where it's like, yo, you want more yard time, you got to talk to Bane. Oh, you want to work in the kitchen, you got to talk to Bane. Now, you want to be able to move Shanks on the third tier, now you got to talk to Bane. It literally got to the point where there was nothing that didn't happen in the prison without his okay.
As it should be. Damn.
Right? And now, but during this time, this is something I always thought that was really interesting, is that he would constantly have visions of, I forget how you say it in Spanish, but it was basically like he would see this demonic creature in his dreams, and it looked like a bat.
Shit. Fuck.
I know what
Come
you're
on.
talking about. Not like the chupacabra. It's
No, but like
it's
the actual bat god. I can't remember the name of the bat god in Spanish. But it was more. But it's more. It's that. So that's more like more Mexican, or like as Techian, mythos and mythology.
not
But
Viracocha.
no. Oof.
I know
Oof.
what you're talking about, though. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we know what you're talking about. We just can't remember the name at this point.
So it's like how he started to have these the dreams started to turn to nightmares, and it's like how he started to, it was like almost like it was the being itself was stalking him and haunting him. So it's like he had to figure out the way to overcome it. And then lo and behold, what does he hear about but stories of this Batman?
Yeah, and then he was
So I know
probably
that
oh, wait a minute.
that
If
had
I
to hit a
kill
button.
him, maybe I'll get better.
Yeah, it was like he thought like Batman was like the embodiment of this creature, sort of like the way Khonshu or Bast deal with Moon Knight and the Panther.
Which is interesting because there is a story of Batman that is like that, where there is a bat god that was like centuries ago that had been. They say he's the reason why Gotham is always dark and cloudy, and it's always nighttime there. And his tomb is Arkham Asylum was built over top of his tomb, and his name was Barbados. And it said that he was the one that essentially set shit in motion for Bruce to become the living embodiment of him.
Wow.
Yeah, so instead of it being, Bruce, when he fell, he saw all the bats. He had a fear of bats because he was like swarmed by bats. It's revealed in this one storyline that it was actually Barbados that he saw, which triggered his fear of bats.
Because Barbados wanted him to basically like become the embodiment of him.
Exactly. That's just one storyline that I know, and that's really interesting that kind of connects in that way. I think that's one of the only stories that involves Barbados. You don't really ever see too much about him.
Interesting.
But no, that's really. I didn't know that. I did not know that about Bane. That's pretty damn interesting. That though you can kind of make a connection between those two things. Huh. So from that point when he kind of like makes this kind of internal revelation with himself, what are his next steps after that?
So Bane's whole thing is that he didn't want to be a product. He is a product of his environment, but he was also the apex predator of it. So his whole thing was like he didn't want the prison to be his final resting place. So he started to plotting on how he could escape. Now, inside the prison, it also got revealed that they were working on their version of a super soldier serum. So they were testing it on the inmates.
Jeez.
Yep.
Wow.
The serum, which was codenamed Venom, basically made you your super cell, doubled your size, doubled your speed, gave you heightened resistance, pumped your adrenaline.
Sounds like some Seagate prison type shit.
Right? So the second Bane found out about the experiments, he volunteered. And Bane was the only person to survive the experiment. Now, when they went to actually went to enlist him, he faked his death, and in the process of him dying, he got transported off the prison, and he took his most loyal subordinates with him.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I want to read that because I want to see how that works, how that happens, how that entire plan kind of plays out.
It is revealed in Batman, the Vengeance of Bane, and then it's also called the story where he breaks him. That's Nightfall. Nightfall is a good collection, though. Nightfall is probably like a good 3 dozen books.
Yeah, I've heard that Nightfall was really good.
Oh damn! I gotta check that out.
Oh no, it is. So once Bane escaped, he made his way to Gotham City, and then he started studying the Batman. He watched him for a distance, realized that with what he was doing and how he was doing it, he had to have capital, he had to have the means to get away and escape. So he had training, and he had to have been able to have been someone who received this training over an extended period of time. So he slowly but surely deduced that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Which is completely plausible.
Because honestly, Bane sounds like the most realistic person in all of Gotham. How can you not put 2 and 2 together? It was so simple when you look at it. And even the detectives that are always going after Batman, before he's deemed as a hero or whatever, they're always going after Batman. They're like, I don't know how he's doing this. He's got to have a lot of money to do all this, all his gadgets and gears, and we just don't understand how he's doing all this. So you're telling me that you're all the brightest detectives in this damn city of darkness. You decide that the only way that this person can be achieving the feats in which he's achieving and using the gadgets and gears in which he is creating is that he has to have money. And you only have about what? There's only 4 or 5 billionaires in the city. You're telling me about 4 or 5 billionaires in the city, because you got to think about it. I think the only founding, because it's all founding families that are rich. People that are pretty much related or that are related to the founding families are filthy fucking rich. Because I believe we talked about this
Penguin episode
last month. In our Penguin, yep. When we talked about Penguin, we talked about this in our Penguin episode. The Cobblepotts are the only ones that are broke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Out of the founding families. So it's you literally have a specific, you can count the billionaires on your fingers. And you're telling me that you can't be like, all right, you know what?
Yeah.
I never see Batman when Bruce Wayne is there. And I never see Bruce Wayne when Batman's there. And then at the same time, he seems to always take interest when there's a crime that involves Wayne Industries. Huh. And then you know what? After everything is solved and somehow Wayne Industries always ends up investing money or making charitable donations to whoever was victimized. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn it, I don't know who it could be. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Who it could be. When everything has Wayne Industries written all the fuck over it. But Bane was able to be like, huh, I see. Batman's Bruce Wayne. Boom.
And the wild part is that's not even the part that's crazy to me. Is what Bane does next.
Oh shit. Okay.
So Bane basically realizes that he has to take him out. So what he does is he engineers a prison break or an asylum break from Arkham and releases the worst of the worst of his rogues gallery.
Mm.
And then as Batman catches each one of them and takes them down, Bane's watching and studying his tactics.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Let me just keep him busy for a couple of weeks here.
Like I believe it was literally like a few months almost until he caught everybody. And then once everybody was rounded back up, Bane sneaks into the Wayne Manor and confronts him in the house.
Damn. That is some gangsta ass shit. He ain't catching niggas on the street at all. He just ran down on him in the crib. This nigga Bruce is in there sipping his tea and shit. Niggas just like, so you're Batman, huh? I go, what? Who are you? Why are you here? How'd you get past security? Nigga, it's just you and this old man living here. You have no security.
Oh no, that's not true. He had defenses.
Yeah,
And you
that's
just haven't
true.
scouted and got past him.
Fences.
I believe that.
He got. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I'm taking this as a shit on Batman episode. It's because we're talking about a man who is literally shitting on Batman at so many twists and turns. Like everyone talks about Joker being like such like a rival to Batman because they're how much are they like the complete opposites of the same page. But in reality, I really feel like Bane is the one that really gives Bruce the run for his money on a regular occasion.
I mean, I believe that Bane is definitely more of an opponent.
It just because intellectually they're very close and if on par, and then physically they're on par. And then when it comes to Joker, I mentally, yeah, they're kind of on par, but physically, well, of course, depending on what iteration of Joker you're talking about. Physically, Joker keeps Batman out of arm's reach, just out of arm's reach. And then if Batman just so happens to close that gap and land a hit on Joker, Joker runs. He dips. Like literally, Batman punches Joker one time. Pow! Joker's like, time to go. Too close, and he's out. So I enjoy watching, any iteration of it. I enjoy watching Bane and Batman face off way more than I enjoy any Batman facing off against any other of his rogues gallery. Because I know it was going to be good. Bro, there was even a point where this nigga Batman and Superman had to switch places. Or at least Superman dressed up as Batman and took on Bane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. You remember that episode? Triage?
Yes, I do. Because Bruce Wayne had been kidnapped, and everybody basically running amok in Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
So Superman flew over to see what was going on. He found that Robin was basically trying to cover shit himself. So he stepped in to help him, and he posed as Batman.
That fight was hilarious. Seeing a Bane hit this nigga with a pillar. He was like, ha 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 ha. Turns and looks. Sees this nigga Batman shrug it off. He's like, what? Cocks back on that haymaker and bows. Sends Bane flying. Bane has no clue what the hell's going on. He's like, what is going on here? And just Superman commences to whoop Bane's ass. And Bane is just utterly confused. He even tries to break his back. Bane tries to break his back. And he drops him. Bang! Lets him drop. He's like, yeah. Batman gets up. He's like, what the fuck? Hold on. Whoa. That worked last time. What the hell? All right. The complete and utter just confusion that Bane has in that moment is absolutely comedy gold. Comedy fucking gold. Like I enjoy watching that part so fucking much.
It's just funny because obviously Batman does not have any superpowers.
Uh-huh.
So and that would be something that Bane would know or realize. So as soon as he hits him with this pillar, oh fuck.
White privilege.
Hell, fuck the superpower. Being the 1%. That's a superpower right there.
Yeah, he's rich.
Being the 1%. He had more than one superpower. He got privilege and deep pockets. Privilege and pockets. Privilege and pockets. Oh man. So let's give a sec. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive into where the most recent incarnations of Bane. Unless there's more that you want to go over on this part.
Yeah. There was a little bit.
A little bit. All right. We'll take a break. We'll go when we come back. We'll go into that a little bit. Then we'll talk about the more recent incarnations of Bane and how they relate to Bane's a comic, iteration, and then we'll go from there. So let's take a quick break. Hear from our amazing friends doing some amazing things within the Blurred universe, within the podcast universe.
What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
Join the Pulse. We're excited to announce the launch of Heartline Comics' newest line, the Barcode Collection. Our fresh drop just hit the internet and is turning heads. Imagine this: you're rocking our merch, and friends can scan the barcodes to instantly connect with the Heartline Comics website. It's a game changer. Stay ahead of the curve and never miss a beat. Subscribe to our website for exclusive alerts on the latest merch drops and the newest comics hitting the shelves. Be part of the Heartline community and show off your style with pride. Trust us, you don't want to miss this.
Testing.
And welcome back.
Yeah. So no, the one thing I did want to touch on was
Oh, I didn't realize I was still muted. My bad. I did a whole spiel and didn't realize I was still muted. My bad. Technical difficulties. My bad, guys. My bad. I thought y'all was muted. My bad. I didn't realize I was muted. I'm sorry. One second, Trez. Give me one second. Please go check them out. Midnight Comics, Roomful of Blurs, Icarus Podcast, and Icarus Metro Comics, as well as Heartline Comics with their Barcode collection, doing some awesome, amazing things. Shout out to Lady Mandalore for when you watch this later on, because she's probably live right now. But yeah, shout out to Lady Mandalore. Shout out to Lloyd and Tasha. Shout out to Icarus Podcast, everybody. We love y'all. Thank y'all. And we're gonna keep putting y'all names out there because you're doing some amazing things. And we're back. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about DC's Bane, going over his origins, where he is now, the type of character he is, and his conflicts with Batman. This is definitely a triage episode. Triage. There was a few more things that you want to get into before we switched over. Go ahead.
yes. So one of the things that I did want to go over was the Venom.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can't talk about Bane without talking about Venom.
So in more recent incarnations, apparently they've actually put Bane back on Venom. It was one of those things where he was off it for a good period of time. And one of the reasons why they had took Bane off of Venom is because it gets revealed that while what doesn't kill you can make you stronger, what can make you stronger can often kill you. It got revealed that Bane was actually highly addicted to the Venom. Like he had to take it. He had to take it every 12 hours, otherwise he'd go through withdrawal. To the point where it was sweats, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, all that.
Awful.
Yeah.
And that's one of the.
It's really bad.
That's one of the reasons why Tom Hardy's Venom in The Dark Knight Rises, excuse me, the Tom Hardy's Venom, the reason why Tom Hardy's Bane is not on Venom in the movie.
Yeah, because at that time, that's when they were going through the run of him being off of Venom.
It was also one of those things where DC Comics said that they did not want to heavily endorse such a fan favorite character who was an addict.
Yeah, DC making more.
I mean, I get that.
I do too.
It makes sense. Yeah, I 100% get it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's a part of reality. It's a very, 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 very real situation. Addiction is something that's very real, and that's something that I feel like DC Comics does very, very well when it comes to their characters. They make them very relatable and realistic. You know what I mean? I know, like, some of them, all right, it's a little out there, a little weird, but when you really break it down and look at the characters, like, there's parts of them that can really happen in reality, in real life. From their background. Well, if you look at Joker, and if you're looking at, all right, it was Joker was first, an unwilling participant in a robbery gone wrong. And he was only there in order to provide for his family because his dreams were taken off. That's a very, very real situation that many, 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 men and women are currently still in prison today because they made these choices out of necessity, and now it's changed their life forever. When you look at Joker, and now even then, what we just talked about, you look at Bane. The sins of the father weigh heavy on the son. He was innocent. He was a child. Yet, due to the air quote crimes of his father, he's had to pay his entire life, which has turned him into the man he is. You know what I mean? A lot of the villains in Batman all stem from very realistic situations and circumstances. Look at Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean? He wanted so much to bring the woman of the love of his life back to life, that he in turn ended up dooming himself to a relative same fate, and he would risk and give anything to bring her back. And that is also a very, very, very realistic situation that many of us have been in. So when it comes to Bane and his addiction is a very, very, very real thing. And before we started the show, we were having a conversation about, situations within our own lives where we've had, issues and stuff like that and stuff like that. So it's very real. So I just feel like, and this is something that this is a big problem that I've had with DC, is that a lot of times they shy away from the things that actually make them good.
So I think it's one of those things that because when children, because a lot of this stuff is more aimed towards selling toys or cartoons or stuff like that. So it's like when kids start playing with the toys, they might be interested to learn more about the character. And then it's like you find out this character is an addict, or this character was a prostitute, or this character was this. Like Mia Dearden, who becomes Speedy. Speedy was a teen prostitute, and she wound up contracting HIV, and she wound up being the first HIV positive character in comics. That was a very big thing. Roy Harper, the original Speedy, he was a heroin addict. Like, he wound up having to get clean and come back, and he wound up recreating himself as Arsenal. So it was like that was a real big thing, and it was like that was one of the things that they had never been done before in comics. You could never say this person was addicted to this or this person was involved in this. So DC actually did push the barrier with a lot of stories like that. It's just one of those things where it's not done well to convey the actual seriousness of it. Like, for example, you watched Arrow, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you watch Arrow?
Not the whole series, but I have seen it.
So Quentin Lance was an alcoholic, and then
Yep.
Laurel began drowning her sorrows in alcohol.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And then then she became a adrenaline junkie too. After that,
Thea was a big partier. So it's like Amanda Waller actually makes a comment to Oliver. She's like, since you've disappeared, like your sister's developed quite a bit of a drug habit. He's like, it'd be a real shame if we have to read about her being found someday with a dirty needle in her arm. And she goes, oh, poor Speedy. Like that was a direct reference to the comics. Because there is an infamous comic cover where the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, is showing the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, that Roy Harper, Speedy, is an addict. And he literally shows him about to tie off his arm, stick a needle in it. That's the cover of the comic.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like a direct reference.
Because in Arrow, there was a point in time where she was that's when they bring in Count Vertigo, and that Count Vertigo arc of the show where they bring in that Vertigo was a drug that all the kids was hooked on, and Thea almost dies from overdosing on Vertigo. So there's and it's but again, I see what you're saying. It's like they're trying they have to cater to both their audience, both the adults and the children and the kids that they're because they're in their business, they're trying to sell toys and shit like that as well. So yeah, it makes sense. It definitely 100% makes sense. But then you also see that in like other aspects. So like certain contexts where let's say they're certain pieces of their media that they're catering to adults, they still choose to pull their punches and shy away from these things that make these characters so relatable, and especially when, and that's something that I love so much about the Penguin. They did not shy away at all. This is Gotham City, the crime central of America. In the comics, you're gonna have prostitutes, you're gonna have addicts, you're gonna have crimes of all different types of heinousness. What was it? Heinocity? Is it heinocity or heinous? All these different types of crimes that vary from different levels of heinous going on. And so I just wish that DC, when it came to their media that's directed towards adults, didn't really shy away too much from it, because a lot of these characters have a lot of DC's villains have redeemable qualities about them.
Well, here's the thing with Bane is that Bane was always an honorable character. Like, did you ever read Kingdom Come?
I think the only Kingdom Come I read about was the Superman arc for Kingdom Come Superman.
Okay,
that's the one. Yeah.
So Kingdom Come was basically like one of the big shakeups of the DC universe. It literally changes how it will literally forever change how you see the DC universe. My tattoo artist told me about it. Shout out to my boy Gary, Dark Tower Tattoo. If you're in the capital region, check him out. So one of the most interesting things was that basically new heroes had appeared, and how the Justice League at the time was keeping an eye on them, and how this new hero showed up in Metropolis, and how
oh shit, yes, yep. I see where you're going.
And then this is right around the time like where the Joker blows up the Daily Planet, kills mad people, Superman arrests him, and then the new hero kills the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now people have a fit. They're all going on this rant. They were like, you can't arrest this guy. He just did what no one had the balls to do. Maybe if Batman had killed him a decade ago, there wouldn't be so many bodies on his hands, this, that, and the third.
I remember that. And Superman's like, all right, bet if that's what you wanted. Superman leaves. He supposedly goes off planet, right? And come to find out, he was really just chilling in Kansas the whole time.
Yeah. So like decades go by, and it's revealed that all these heroes have now retired. Their sidekicks or their children have taken up their mantles, and now basically it's a meta war. It's just they're not fighting for good or evil; they're fighting just for the sake of fighting.
Oh God, I know where you're going, and I love this scene. The scene that you're about to get on, I love it so fucking much because it truly speaks to Bane's character so much. I love it. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
So the government basically steps in and tells Wonder Woman, like, yo, you guys got to get this under control. It's like, well, the only person that anyone's going to listen to is Superman. And they were like, well, we don't know where Superman is. Superman's all for it. She goes, no, he's not. I know exactly where Kal is. I'll go get him. And sure enough, he was in Kansas. So she tells him what's going on, what the government needs done. So Superman rallies the troops, gets everyone that will listen to him on his side. And the way he does this is that they go into a bar and where everyone's like hanging out at, drinking, all this other shit. And he basically tells them, like, yo, it's going to be my way or the highway. I'm going to need y'all to fall in, whatever. So this dude at the end of the bar gets up and starts talking mad shit to him. Like, yo, I don't give a fuck who you think you are.
Oh
he's like, you ain't shit to me. He's like, you flew off and we needed you most. And out of nowhere, all you see is a fist fly into frame and knock the dude out. And like when I say like knocked him out, like when I say knocked him out, I mean knocked him the fuck out. And all you hear is you watch your motherfucking mouth when Superman's talking, and Superman goes, "Thanks, Bane." And you look over, and Bane's at the end of the bar. He's got his mask pulled up to his nose, and he's drinking a beer. He raises it, cheers, goes and sips it.
Yo.
Because times have changed. So it's like, but like just the fact that he did that, it was just hilarious because like even though Superman was his enemy, he still always commanded respect with him.
Yo, that because that was Bane's big thing is respect, and people like Batman and Superman and those other heroes even though Bane's like, I'm still do me, but they've earned his respect. And he's like, hey little nigga, now watch your mouth. Like, this is old guard talking right now. This is old regime, old school talking right now. Like, this man has gave me a run for my money, and I'm the baddest motherfucker in this bar right now. If I'm saying shut up and listen, shut up and fucking listen. Because this man, he's speaking facts. If I'm me, the old school nigga here, the old head here, is respecting him, every last one of you little niggas need to respect him. If you respect me, you gonna respect him. Type shit. I love that story so fucking much. And we see, so that Kingdom storyline is like, so Joker, he sets off like a gas bomb inside a Daily Planet. It was a gas bomb that he set off, and we see Kingdom Come Superman in the was it Crisis or Elseworld for the Arrowverse? I think it's the beginning of Crisis.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the one that Brandon Routh comes back to play Superman. He plays Kingdom Come Superman because he played Superman for Superman Returns before he became Adam in Arrowverse. And so they just like, hey, you want to throw the tights back on? He's like, hell yeah, I want to throw the tights back on. So it was nice to see Brandon Routh come back as Superman. It was nice to see Tom Welling come back as Clark Kent Superman from Smallville. Who did we get anybody else, or was it just them two? But there was a lot of Superman references because Lex goes on a whole fucking rampage killing Superman throughout the multiverse. while this is going on. And then he comes across Tom Welling Superman. He's like, haha, kryptonite. He was like, huh. Grabs the kryptonite, looks at it, throws it off into the damn forest. He's like, what? No, you gave away your powers. Bang! Punches him, knocks him the fuck out, and walks away and goes back inside for his to be with his twins. Oh man. Oh wait, we saw 3 Superman, because we saw Taylor Hogan's Superman, who was he's Superman for Superman and Lois. We got to see Tom Welling, and then we also got to see Brandon Routh as well. So we saw multiple Superman throughout that. But I thought that storyline, that Kingdom Come storyline, like you said, it completely just terraforms the entire landscape of DC. And to see a character like Bane step up and be like, I feel like it was one of those situations where the roles end up getting reversed. Heroes become villains and villains become heroes in a sense, not fully, not completely, but we see that a lot in DC, and that's something that I enjoy when it comes to DC, because they do that a lot. There's been a lot of situations where the heroes and the villains have teamed up strictly because they're like, the villains are like, hey, whatever this shit is, if it destroys the world, we're out of luck. We're shut out of luck. We can't rob no more. We can't steal no more. We can't kill no more. Fuck that. No. And then when it comes to Joker, people like Joker's like, fuck that. You ain't killing Batman. Only I get to kill Batman. And so he's like, no. Truce, fuck that. I'm going to help you beat this motherfucker. But then, trust believe, after we beat him, I'm beating your ass. Type shit. And so I love storylines like that, especially when it comes, because at the end of the day, the villains do honestly respect the heroes. And the heroes, to an extent, do respect the villains to an extent, to a level. There's a certain extent. And I feel like that specific storyline and that specific scene speaks volumes to that shit. I love it. I fucking love it. That's why I'm sitting here laughing all the time. I'm sitting there getting giddy and excited, because every time I hear that, every time I come across that scene, someone is posting like a clip of, a clipping from that scene, or a video with someone's talking about it, I always give it a like, always give it a share, because it's such a solid fucking story. And I'm sorry, like, I will say it to the day I die. I love Marvel heroes, and I'm not a big fan of their villains. But I love DC's villains, and I'm not a big fan of their heroes. Because I feel like if you took, I feel like Marvel villains would run a absolute fucking rampage on Marvel, on a lot of the Marvel heroes. I feel like a lot of the Marvel heroes will have a very hard time dealing with the villains in DC, because the villains in DC are very cutthroat. They're very bloodthirsty. They're very like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker no matter what. I'm going to kill him one way or another. And I just feel like the Marvel heroes aren't equipped from somebody that bloodthirsty.
Listen,
Marvel villains.
Alone.
What was it?
I said Zoom alone.
Zoom alone.
Yeah.
Zoom alone. Zoom a fucking alone. The biggest op in DC and comic humanity. That nigga is the embodiment of hate. Bro, anytime that I hear fucking anytime I hear any of Kendrick's diss tracks towards Drake, I hear Zoom.
Oh my god.
He said, let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk.
I hate the way you walk. And I think it's that I hate the way you say nigga.
Oh my god.
Zoom is the biggest fucking hater of all. This man got shot in the fucking head, through and through, a hole, through and through his fucking brain, and he hated Barry so much that he slowed time within himself to be able to go back in time and destroy the fucking world. Pure hate drove him to defy death. Like if you look at the Marvel villains, there's a cause. None of them are just bad to be fucking bad. There's always a cause. There's always something that they are fighting for. There's always something that they believe in that's making them do the shit that they do. Yeah, they're bad. Yeah, they're bad motherfuckers. But there's always a reason. There's always something that makes them do what they're doing. But when it comes to DC villains, a lot of them just do it just to fucking do it. There's no reason for Joker to do what the fuck he does.
He finds it entertaining.
He just he just likes to do it. Like you said, he just finds it entertaining.
Quite literally.
One of the few DC villains that I can say that has a cause that acts for something more than herself is like Ivy. Everything. She's an eco-terrorist. So majority of what she does is for a green cause. The people that she kills and shit like that or whatever is because they were. Oh shit! Damn it. Give me a sec. Let me take a sip before I say what I say. And I gotta sip the tequila straight for this one. Give me a sec. Hold on. Make sure you guys hear this properly. Terramana. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, please sponsor us. When it comes to Ivy, she's a Luigi. She's a Luigi Maggiano.
What does that mean?
That you don't know about Luigi? Luigi's a dude that just shot the CEO of that fucking health company that did all those cutbacks on people's healthcare.
Oh my god.
Nah, you say Luigi, my fault. My mind goes to Mario. So I was like, what does that mean? No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
No, I thought we were talking about Mario and Luigi for a sec.
But yeah, no, she is, that's her thing, is because the people that she goes after are corporations and or people, politicians, whatever, that their actions are negatively affecting the environment.
That's true.
She has a cause. There's not a lot of villains that do things for essentially, like, all right, yeah, we got to protect the world. You kind of can't get mad at her for that, but you can get mad at her for the way that she's doing shit.
Her reason.
Hold on, what was that? What was that?
I said let's go over Pam next.
All right, Miss Pamela Ivy. Yeah, definitely, we will definitely go over her next.
But before we switch gears, the last thing I wanted to bring up was, because I remember I started talking about the Venom, was, do you remember the episode? Do you remember the episode of Batman Beyond with the Venom?
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
Oh yeah, it's been so fucking long.
So there was somebody who had took Bane's formula and turned it into slappers. They were basically Band-Aids, the size of Band-Aids, and you put them on your skin, and it gave you the adrenaline rush of the Venom.
Oh yes.
Yep. I do remember. Yep. As soon as you said slappers, I remember.
Yep. And they were giving them to athletes as like an adrenaline boost for sports.
Yep. But they were also mixed with different animal DNA as well. Right? Or am I thinking of another episode?
You're thinking of the splicing episode.
The splicing episode. Yep. Splicing. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's the episode I was thinking of. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead. Slappers.
So the whole thing with the slappers is that They took Bane's venom and basically refined it. So when Terry McGinnis went to confront him, he goes to see him. Bane's in a home and he's basically on life support. And
Yep.
he's speaking to his nurse and he's like, "Yo, what happened to him?" And he was like, "It was the venom." He's like, "He spent too many years on a bad thing."
Interesting.
And again, that speaks heavy to reality. A lot of people who are unable to kick, their addiction, that's how, especially an addiction like that, that's how they end up. It corrodes the body and the mind. And they essentially end up husks of their former selves. Yeah.
Yes.
I've there's so many stories about people who were people that were amazing people, great people, fucking star athletes, or A plus students all the way through, amazing jobs, and then the pressure of life got too much for them, and then let's say they picked up the pipe, and now they're just completely destroyed, and you can't even look at them and see the person that they used to be. So again, that makes sense, and that's something. When it comes to Bane, and when it comes to his addiction to venom, there's so much that, like I said, it's a very, very big art imitates reality, or a text to reality kind of situation there. Because that shit's real. That shit is so fucking real.
Yes.
I keep saying it, but this is something that I appreciate about DC and their comics and their characters so much, because that a lot of it is very relative to what goes on in IRL, in the real world. But yeah, did you want to go? Was there one more thing that you wanted to go on with Venom?
No, that was it.
So for me, one thing that my brother, shout out to you, Book, I love you. He brought up to me, and actually it was him that pointed out to me that we hadn't done a lot of episodes on DC characters, because he's a big DC fan, not a Marvel fan at all, but a big DC fan. And he was talking to me about it. And when it comes, since we're talking about Venom and Bane's addiction to Venom, there was a moment where Bane had enlisted the villain Psycho Pirate, who we actually do end up seeing in the Elseworld arc for the Arrowverse. Psycho Pirate, who he's able to control the emotions, and pretty much he's like, it sounds like Psycho Pirate. He literally can hijack your mind and your brain. And so Bane enlists him in order to help him kick Venom. He does, but in doing so, Venom then becomes addicted to Psycho Pirate and ends up needing him to help him find that kind of peace in the darkness kind of thing. But then that kind of goes away, where there's a whole situation going on in Gotham, where Batman, and all this takes place on Santa Prisca. Batman goes to Santa Prisca and actually takes Psycho Pirate back to Gotham City in order to help Gotham Girl, who was having some kind of psychotic break due to another villain. So that was one of the times that Bane ends up kicking Venom. But when you find yourself as an addict, you have what's called an addictive personality, which means things that bring you joy or give you that boost of serotonin or dopamine, whatever it may be, your body and your mind then becomes reliant on those very easily. And so I just found that, really interesting, when they're like, yeah, Bane also has that addictive personality that you find with people who either are addicts or were former addicts, or recovering addicts. They still have that addictive personality, which is why it's recommended that they stay clean of everything. But again, that's another level of that realistic factor that this character has. But let's take another quick break before we round off here, and then we can talk about where Bane is now. Actually, hold on, no. Let's go into where Bane is now. Let's talk about these more recent adaptations of Bane. Tom Hardy's rendition of Bane. And then I also want to go back. I also want to jump back to the past as well. And we talk about like all the renditions of Bane. Which ones you feel have portrayed the character accurately, and those that have been completely off the mark. So, I feel like our first live action look at Bane was in was it Batman Forever?
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin. I always get those two mixed up. Because they're connected. Those two are connected. And even though they're different actors playing Batman, I always get those two mixed up. But yeah, Batman and Robin. Yeah, we see Ivy, and I pretty much what is it like? Ivy is the one that creates the venom using using her ability with plants or whatever. Because the villains in that movie are Ivy, Bane, and Freeze. Right? I haven't watched that movie in so damn long.
Correct.
And then Batman Forever, it's Riddler and Joker. The Riddler and Two-Face.
Correct.
So how does that rendition of Bane match up to how do you feel it matches up to Bane's actual character in the comics?
I mean, he has the look, he's physically imposing, he has the comic accurate style, but as we said earlier in the show, Bane is brilliant. That's one of the few, if you want the word to describe him, that's one of the words you use. So it's like, that wasn't conveyed at all by that actor's performance of the character.
So, scale of 1 to 10, how close? How accurate? 1 to 10
overall.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a 3, maybe 4.
All right. Let's move forward a little bit. The next time I remember seeing Bane, let's go into animated. Bane was in Batman the Animated Series.
And in a self-entitled episode called Bane. This is correct.
Mm-hmm. How would you rate him? 1 to 10.
That one was, I would say it was, I'd say that Bane is a 9. But the only reason why I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because they didn't let him win the fight. And that Bane did not realize that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
All right. Moving forward, the next thing that I can remember after when it came to the animated series, we'd see him in. All right, so let's go to animated. The Batman. When we see Bane in The Batman.
Yeah, that Bane was different. I like that Bane a lot. Fresh take, that kept it comic accurate.
I agree. He was sick.
Mm-hmm. And he does break the Bat's back. I don't in the movie in Batman and Robin doesn't break the Bat's back. Or maybe that wasn't even a part in that. Maybe that wasn't even in the comics yet at that time. I don't know.
It definitely would have been.
Yeah, I kind of figured. He definitely breaks the bat's back, and then there's that whole montage of him getting um the what is it? What does he call it? Oh fuck! I'm trying to remember what he calls the armor suit that he creates in order to fight Bane.
Oh, it's
It was
about
like the Darkwing.
the talking about the giant mech suit.
Yeah, the mech suit.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like the Darkwing or something like that. But like when he uses it, it puts an extra amount of strain on his body, so he can't use it for too long. We see another rendition of that later on, where he creates a suit that is able to take on Batman. Was it Batman or was it Darkseid? No, it was Doom. I think it was Doomsday. He kind of remodels the suit in order to take on one of Superman's villains. But it's a suit that literally kind of like wears on his own life force. It uses him to power the suit. So the more he uses it, the more he dies, or some shit like that. Let's see. There's the Batman. Where would we go from there? I mean, I don't want to jump forward to Christopher Nolan's Batman yet, because I really want to hear your take on him. Christopher Nolan's Bane. I'm sorry. But no, fuck it. Let's do it. So Christopher Nolan's Bane. How would you compare and contrast that?
So when I found out Tom Hardy was Bane, I actually didn't know who Tom Hardy was. I actually
Same.
I actually went and sat through several of his movies, but I was like, I want to know who this guy is who's playing this constant central role. Watch Bronson, watch Warrior. Warrior's actually one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. So how would you compare and contrast him to, the other iterations of Bane, and whether it be his comic, because we all know he was not comic accurate at all for the most part. The most comic accurate part of him, I feel, was when it came to his backstory. His backstory was a little closer to the comics, but the character we see in front of us is not who Bane becomes in the comic books. Oh, what was your take on that?
So I get that they wanted to do something new and something different. And they also wanted to take a larger than life character and bring him down to level, because Tom Hardy's actually shorter than Christian Bale. And it's like, Bane's is well over 6 feet tall. So it's like, but it's also one of those things like where I understand it, because his actions and his ferocity is what made him so dangerous.
I believe it.
Everybody right now knows someone who's like 5'5" and is lethal as a fucking pissed off Wolverine.
How tall are you?
Me?
Yes.
I'm 6'2".
Yeah. Yep. Sounds about right. Yep. You're about the closest person I know to a Bane I know. Like you're highly fucking intelligent. You're dangerous when you need to be, and you're tall and brolic as shit.
Appreciate you. Well, nah, son. I actually got Bane tattooed on the inside of my bicep, and the reason why I got Bane done is because Bane is a reminder to me to never let my environment determine the outcome of my life.
So for many of you don't know, but Triage has many pop culture tattoos on him, and majority of them are comic book tattoos. Most of them are comic book tattoos, and each one of them is of a character that relates to him in some way, shape, or form. Because you got Black Manta, you got you recently got Killmonger, right?
I have Black Manta, Killmonger, Malcolm Merlin, Bane, Magneto, Mystique, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, and then I have all 4 turtles. I did a 5th one, and I got Painkiller.
So that's like 11 to 12 tats that are all comic book character related, and they're all characters that in some way, shape, or form that character relates to you on a mental and emotional level.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel like tattoos are supposed to be. You know what I mean? As long as what you're getting relates to you on some way, shape, or form, that's you taking what's inside of you and putting it on the outside of you. I feel like that's the ultimate form of kind of like wearing your heart in the sleeve without taking your heart out of your chest and shit like that. And I'm like that too. There's a lot of, I don't have as much ink as you do. I'm only sitting at 2. I want a lot more, but I feel like that's like I said, the ultimate form of kind of like putting your heart in your sleeves. You know what I mean? They're called power statements. Something that you can look at and remind you of what you do it for. You know what I mean? When you're in those hard times of like, shit, what do I do? What do I do? Blah, 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 blah. You can look down at your skin, either your bicep, your leg, your other arm, your forearm and shit, and look like, all right, yeah, that reminds me that no, let me get my shit together. Let me get back on track. And that's something I personally believe in doing. I personally 100% believe in doing that shit. You need power statements. You need those things to remind you who you. Sometimes throughout life we forget who we are. The world just kind of catches us in its whirlwind, and we forget who we are. We forget our purpose, our passion, what our drive is. Forget why we are doing this all. And we need those things that we can look at to bring us back to reality and bring us back to ourselves. And Bane is definitely one of those characters that he has a purpose. He has a meaning. You know what I mean? He does shit. He doesn't do anything off of a will or whim or whatever. He's a very intentional kind of character. And that's something that I enjoy about Bane's character so much. He's intentional. He's not a maniac like Joker. He's a character that's very grounded, very rooted, and he does what he does for a reason. Doesn't matter if you think it's a good reason or not, but to him, he believes in it. Thus, that's why he does what he does. But no, I enjoy the shit out of Bane's character so fucking much. Now, where's somewhere that what would you like to see them do with Bane's character in the future going forward?
So one of the things I always thought that was interesting about Bane is that after Ra's al Ghul found out that Bane had bested the detective, he considered making Bane his heir.
Oh, I remember that.
He was going to let Bane take over the League of Assassins, and he's going to let him run the league as he saw fit. But the problem was that Bane had no interest in Talia al Ghul. I would actually like to see what the League of Assassins would have looked like under his control.
That's terrifying to me, because we see what Bane can do with his own people. We see the level of strategy, the level of compliance, the level of organization that Bane has. And for him to be in charge of a group of highly fucking trained assassins that rule the darkness. That's fucking terrifying. I don't even think the Bat would be able to keep up with them. Now, Jay,
Yeah.
what would you be interested in seeing them do with Bane?
Oh man, I think that it would be interesting if they came out with like a new story of something that he has to go through, and it makes him even more formidable.
That would be interesting. Him at the level that he is now, and then he has to go through something that takes him to even a higher level intellect, a higher level of strategy and shit like that.
Yeah.
That would be crazy too. Give the character a next level of evolution.
And
Me,
it would just be interesting on what Batman would do.
exactly. Like we said, we already know Batman can just barely handle Bane. Just barely handle Bane. For me, I'd be down if they did a Penguin style show specifically based on Bane.
Oh, that would be gold.
And that's another thing I'm interested in seeing is how Matt Reeves pulls Bane into this world that he's building. Because we see how nasty Penguin gets. So like how I want to see how he fits Bane into that equation. And then we get to see him throughout that prison stint and the shit that he has to go through and do in order to get to the point where he's able to escape the prison. I think that would be fucking sick. And they should do it as flashbacks. You know what I mean? And flashbacks, have him going through something, present day, and then we learn about his past through these flashbacks. Through these flashback episodes, or have maybe the first half of the episode be a flashback to when he was a kid in the prison and shit like that on Santa Prisca, and going forward from there. Because I highly enjoy Matt Reeves' Batman universe thus far. I enjoy it thus far.
Okay, so here's the $1 million question: who are you having play Bane?
Ooh,
I say Rey Mysterio Jr.
I feel like Rey Mysterio Jr. I feel like that. Yeah, that is a solid, because he has the luchador background. First off, before we even go there, I was rest in peace to Rey Mysterio Sr. He passed away a few days ago. That's Rey Mysterio's uncle. Shout out to him. He passed away 2 or 3 days ago. But that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now, I don't know Dave Bautista's ethnic background, but I'd be down for Bautista. But my only thing is Bautista is, in his age, he's also starting to lean out. He's not as brolic as he was when he was younger. Even in Man with the Iron Fist, he's not as Diesel as he was in that show anymore. He's starting to lean out a lot. So I don't know if he'd be able to pull it off, but I enjoyed Bautista's acting, and I think he'd be great as that character.
Yeah, that's
What,
really
what were you
interesting.
what were you gonna say? Yeah, what were you gonna say, Triage?
I was joking about the Rey Mysterio Jr. thing.
Oh, oh, oh. I mean, granted, yeah, Rey Mysterio Jr. Super fucking short.
Now,
Um,
as
but
far I think Bane should be played by two different actors depending on the situation. I believe
mhm.
that if they are gonna put him on Venom, then he should be portrayed by the guy that was the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
hmm.
'Cause
Mm-hmm.
he has the size, he has the build. We already seen that he can move and he's already imposing, so it's like that basically writes itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm. The Mountain. Remind me, he was the one that was in love with the really, really tall chick, right?
No. That was
No, he's the one who fought the snake.
he's the one that fought over on
Oh,
Martel, crushed his skull.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm thinking about the one that was in love with the really, really tall chick, and then I was also thinking about the dog as well.
The dog.
Is that's what
That's
he
his
called him? The dude with
brother.
Oh,
that's
the Hound.
the dude with the hound. Yeah, the side of his face was like scarred up and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, the hound. I was getting those. I was thinking about those two when you said the Mountain. Um. Hmm. Okay. So if he wasn't on Venom, who would you have play him?
I don't know because there aren't many Spanish actors, especially young Spanish actors, who are popping out of my mind, or Latinos, excuse me.
I agree. If anything, I do believe that he should be played by a Latino actor that's tall and brolic. That all three of us have seen the way he acts. We've seen him fight as well. The actor that plays Mother's Milk in The Boys.
I would wait.
He's Latino.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm just picturing him. Interesting.
Yes, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I watched it. I watched like a kind of like round table talk. It was him and a bunch of other Latino actors. Majority of them were women. But they were talking about how, like, when it comes to their skin color, how a lot of them do not get casted for Latino roles because they're either too light or they're too dark. And that was one thing that he was saying, that like, and I didn't know that he was Latino until I saw this interview, and I was like, oh. And then he starts speaking. I'm like, oh shit, this is not this not a black man. This is a Latino man. But he was talking about how, yeah, he never got casted as Latino for Latino roles because of his skin color, because him being darker skin tone, and that they brought him onto the show because they thought he was black, and
Wow.
have him playing a black character, which again, he does a fucking phenomenal fucking job. But that would be really cool, one, for the actor to be one, cast in a Latino role, and then two, be able to truly embrace his Latino culture and shit like that as well.
Mm.
Now, if you wanted to go more on, for the lighter skin tone, you can maybe you could cast the actor that played Namor. Namor.
Well, we don't know what's happened with him.
Yeah, we don't know. But you can cast him. There's a lot of Latino actors out there that that would work. But I think for me, he comes to mind because like I said, I recently saw that interview, and he is tall, he is decently muscular, and he can probably even put on more muscle if he wanted to. And I feel like could really play that role very, very, very well. He can play that. He can play the intellect, because remember, on Mother's Milk, he wasn't just a brawn. He was actually pretty damn smart in The Boys as well. So I think that would be really, really cool. What about you, Jay?
For
just like an actor that you think would be able to play a good Bane.
Oh, well, my mind was going towards Vin Diesel, but he's not. He's not. Yeah, I second guessed myself.
Said he is Groot.
No. I am Bane.
I think Batista would be decent. I honestly cannot think of anybody else who is also Latino. Like,
yeah, it's very it's very hard to really think about that because because again, like you have to account for Bane's size. You have to account for his height, and then you got to account for his muscle mass size. He's brolic and built. But then you also got to take in consideration that you want an actor that's going to accurately portray the character's ethnicity as well and their background.
Yeah. So.
And.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know Dave Bautista's ethnic background. Like, what is his ethnic background?
I don't know.
He's so ethnically ambiguous, man. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look up.
He kind of sounds Canadian, doesn't he?
A little bit, but I can also get but I do also get Latino from him as well.
Oh yeah, I mean I could see it.
Yeah. But then again, I also can get, maybe just like a really tanned white guy from him. Or I can get, Middle Eastern descent. Maybe he's not from the Middle East, but, that's where his family's roots are. I can also get that as well. But I don't know. I think he would do a really, really good in that role. Triage, who did you say again? Like realistically?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Realistically, who did you say? Because I know you said you were joking about Mysterio.
If I had to pick someone to play Bane, who am I picking? I'm thinking.
I have a new suggestion as well, but
all right. While Triage thinks, who you got?
Okay, so those guys who do those strongman competitions, but they're all like Nordic, like Icelandic. They're giant.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep, I watch a lot of their videos. Yep.
So I think that they could definitely probably find someone like that.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I mean even if they didn't want to go like a kind of like A or B list actor, they could definitely look around within like the strongman circuits. They could definitely look around within they definitely look around in the bodybuilding circuits because
Yeah,
there's been definitely been a big surge of Latino bodybuilders as well. Or even then just bodybuilders of color as well. So they could definitely look around in those circuits.
absolutely.
Because hey, I mean, look at it. Look at Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno is, he's a fucking legend now. But shit, Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look at them both. They're legends now, and they started within the bodybuilding arena and the strongman competitions.
Exactly. I mean,
And
look at The Rock. He was a wrestler first, and now he's like more known to be an actor
well,
now.
well, well, actually, yeah. So he was a bodybuilder first before he started wrestling. Well, he was a football player first, then turned to bodybuilding,
Oh,
and
that's
then
true.
turned to wrestling, and then turned actor, and now he's an entrepreneur, business mogul.
Hmm.
But I would absolutely, listen, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, please sponsor us. I love Terramana so fucking much, but I don't think I would not like to see The Rock play Bane.
I feel like he just wouldn't portray it well because he's not that type of.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if there was to be an actor to play Bane, that actor would really truly have to get into character. And that's one thing that, and again, no disrespect to The Rock at whatsoever in his acting at all. This man is, and he's a fucking superstar. But I feel like his style of acting is not method acting.
Yes, I
A lot
understand
of the
what you're
roles
saying.
that are, yeah, a lot of roles that are written with him in mind. So
Yes.
it seems like a lot of it he can, he's able to really portray the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions of these characters. But when it comes to like breaking down and getting to the mentality of these characters, let's say like actors like Heath Ledger, who method actors, actors like Johnny Depp. We talked a lot about Johnny Depp recently. Actors like Colin Farrell with the Penguin, stuff like that. I mean, I would love to see The Rock do some work like that. I would love to see him do some work like that. That would be really, really cool. But I just wouldn't want to see him like that. Only way they could do that is if they change the entirety of the character's backstory and make the character, instead of Latino, make him Samoan. which also wouldn't be like, yeah, it would kind of be like, man, why are you changing the character like that? And it really want to fit that luchador, aesthetic that the character has. But again, if they were trying to do something like what they did with, Hardy's Bane, wanted to go for a different look, a different feel, and make him more grounded, they could do that as well. I personally wouldn't enjoy it as much, but they could do it.
They could.
What are your thoughts on that, Triage?
It's definitely doable. And I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't enjoy it because I have to.
Hold on a second, brother. You cut out.
I said because we've seen actors give great performances in terrible movies.
Oh,
Very,
very
very
true.
true.
So it's like, could it be a bad movie? Yeah, that shit could also be a grand slam out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very up in the air. It's a very 50-50 for something like that. But again, I enjoy watching the Rock's movies. There's very few Rock movies that I was like, nah.
I actually
Um,
just watched his new Christmas movie with Chris Evans, and
yeah, I haven't been able to sit through that. I haven't watched it yet. I will definitely watch that soon.
it was fairly good. It's like a modern take on Santa, like a 21st century Santa. It's
Mm,
interesting. Interesting.
yeah, like I said, I've been hearing a lot of negative things about it on when it comes to critic wise, but if the few people that I've seen that I've spoken to that I've watched it were like you said, they said the same thing. It was not bad. It wasn't a great out of the park movie. It wasn't no rundown or walking tall or
Yeah.
game plan, but it was definitely it wasn't a bad movie either. That's what I'm hearing. So I don't know. I agree. But Trish, you got who you would have play?
Honestly, no, off the top of my head.
Mm,
I'm sitting there trying to
mm.
brainstorm and no one's coming to mind.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. Oh
Terramana,
boy.
you should go drink it.
Oh boy.
If you're able to drink, if you like tequila, Terramana's the way to go. That one wasn't smooth because it went down the wrong pipe when I sipped. But nah, Terramana, please definitely check it out. It's really good. It's actually really really good. It's actually one of the best tequilas I've ever drank. Um, but no, I want to see more from Bane. I think they're giving him a cool down right now. When it comes to live action wise, because there was a lot of so much negative backlash to Tom Hardy's Bane. Um, so I'm pretty sure they're giving him a very big cool down. Um, plus, I don't think he's a character or within that direction that James Gunn is looking to go. But speaking of James Gunn, before we head on out here, have we all seen the Superman Legacy trailer?
Yes.
I need to watch it.
Damn.
It's okay.
All right. But yeah, when we get off, definitely look it up and watch it. All right. Triage, what are your thoughts?
It looks like hope, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. It's
It
giving
looks
me
like
some
what?
it looks like hope. It's giving me some hope that maybe the DC universe can recover from this funk it's been in.
Mm, okay.
That gives me hope
Okay.
if Triage is saying that.
What
Yeah.
the other thing also is that I I won't be able to take the movie for what it is and analyze it and break it down because I might not even like it initially, or I could walk out of the theater loving it. It all depends because certain movies are like that. Certain ones have to grow on you. So it's like you could have someone get cast to play a part, and people will be like, "Oh, that's not who I thought. They should have cast this person." Then several months later, and a sequel greenlit, everyone's like, "Yeah, that nigga so and so."
Mm,
I very much so agree. Um, so I wouldn't say it gives me hope, but it opens my mind a little bit more to what James Gunn has to offer. I haven't watched Creature Commandos yet. Creature Commandos is out now, streaming on HBO Max. Creature Commandos is out now. Um, I haven't watched that yet, but it definitely opens my eyes more to what and where James Gunn is trying to go. I am very, very, very interested in watching the movie. I would like to see where it goes. I still think, first off, I want to point out I'm a Nathan Fillion fan. I still think that bowl cut is fucked up. They put my nigga in a fucking ginger ass, a blonde ass style ginger bowl cut. I hate it, but I hate the fact that it is comic book accurate.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're talking about the guy playing
Yeah,
Guy Gardner.
yeah, Nathan Fillion.
Oh God.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion. He's a great actor. Right now I'm sitting on the fucking edge of my seat waiting for his new show, The Rookie, to come back for season 7. Yeah. Now, mind you, I want to point out that this Nathan Fillion has had a very, very, very unlucky run when it's come to shows. He's had a lot of hit shows that have gotten canceled quickly, but this show, The Rookie, has been going on for they're about to drop their 7th season now, and on top of the voice actor work that he's done in Big Mouth, um it's really I'm interested to see the way he plays his character, because he's our first time seeing a Green Lantern in action, in live action, really. And so I'm interested to see where he takes this character of Guy. And everything that we've seen from Guy in the comic books is that he's a real asshole to work with,
A dick.
that like he's a straight dick. Like, Batman has punched this nigga in the mouth multiple times for coming out his mouth reckless.
Well, if you watch Young Justice, there was literally an episode where the Flash suggested, like, Earth has another Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, and John Stewart and Hal Jordan look at each other and go, "No," and he's like, "But we could really
Yeah,
use
at the
it."
same
And then
time,
they literally say in unison, they're like, "No."
no. Yup. Both Hal and John are like, no. But we no. I said no. Hell no. We are not bringing him. We are not bringing him along. But I'm I'm interested to see where he goes with this. I'm not concerned about Hawker whatsoever. I am not concerned about her character at all. I know full well, like, you can't really fuck that character up.
What? They can't. What?
I feel like I can't. I just feel like you have to try. You have to try to fuck that character up.
Listen, man.
I mean, like, as an acting wise.
Yeah,
Acting wise.
and I hear what you're saying, but I'm also telling you, with some of the other fuckery we've seen, all right, let's just dial it back, hold on to our units, and make sure we're not getting pissed on.
All right. Well, I'm not concerned about her character. I'm not concerned about her character. I'm more concerned about the one who plays it's a Superman movie. I'm worried about the one playing Superman, and then we're not talking enough about Mr. Terrific and his character.
No, okay, you want to talk about him? Go ahead.
I didn't say I wanted to talk about him. I just said we're not talking enough about him. That's not what I said at all. That's not what I said at all. But the actor playing him is the actor who played Darwin. So I am hoping that this is a redemption for the actor, because they did Darwin so fucking dirty in First Class. They did it. They did him so fucking dirty. So it's the actor that played Darwin from X-Men First Class. And we literally got to see him pretty much do nothing. And then they killed him off. Mind you, Darwin is a character Darwin is a character who literally is able to adapt and overcome anything.
Wow.
Anything. That is his mutant ability. Adaptation. He can jump into an erupting volcano and he will adapt to be able to survive within a volcano.
Yeah, it is
Like,
pretty shocking.
That is his whole thing. Yet he couldn't adapt to radiation being put into his body.
Once again, just because we didn't see him anymore doesn't mean he died. I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure they broke him into pieces.
Energy is never destroyed. It's just converted from one form to another.
And it converted his ass into something that got crumbled. But
Like,
you're got a point that there's a possibility that was just an adaptation for him. That was like his body didn't know how to adapt to it, so all it did was just like destroy itself in order to disperse the energy. And then maybe while they're off on their adventure, like this nigga recorporealized and was like, "Hey, where'd everybody go?" The mansion's empty, and he's just like, what happened? Where'd everybody go? What'd I miss?
I mean, he
You
wouldn't.
know what I mean? So
He wouldn't be the first one.
that's very true. Look what happened with Weasel.
I was gonna say Nitro, but that works too.
This Nitro, yeah. It's like you put someone on a team that couldn't swim. You didn't check to see if he could swim first.
Man, fuck the Weasel. Yeah, that was more crazy than the detachable kid.
Oh no! And I was just about to bring him up. Didn't Nathan Fillion play that character too?
Don't ask me.
Not the detachable kid, but when they were on the beach, he was wearing the green.
No clue.
Damn. All right. When you get a chance, rewatch it. I'm pretty sure that was Nathan Fillion that played that character too. But no, yeah. When it comes to Bane, I want to see more Bane. I want to see him done right, both backstory wise, both actor ethnicity wise, and just like in overall character wise. I need to see him done right. That's all from me. What are your guys' final remarks?
If anything stands in your way that you must overcome or destroy, break it in fucking two.
I like that. That's very, very, very true. Very, very true. What about you, Jay?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Oh no, that's completely fine. Completely fine. For me, I'd say when it comes to Bane, he's a character that speaks volumes to do not become a product of your environment.
That's good.
You are able to become so much more than what is just around you. When you look at Bane, he was literally a child serving a life term for crimes that he never committed. He was literally, I would consider him a fucking baby being put in prison.
Yeah.
Yet he was smart enough and strong-willed enough to not allow what went on around him to warp him into becoming like them. Yeah, he did what he needed to do to survive, but he never let it dictate his potential.
Yes. He used it to make him stronger.
Exactly. He used the chaos and the environment around him to become stronger, and then what ends up happening, he ends up getting himself out of that environment, out of that situation, using what he had learned from being in that situation. So that's my final remarks. You do not have to become a product of your environment. You're your own individual person. And if you are in a shitty situation, find a way to use that shitty situation to better yourself.
That's good. I like
and get
it.
yourself out of that situation. So, with that being said, this has been the Super Breakdown. So Trios, what I would like to do is before we do Ivy, I would like to next episode. I would like to do a year recap. Hell, actually, because we just crossed our 3-year anniversary, can we do a 3-year recap? Just go over a lot of our old episodes, or just like do a montage, or just like going over our favorite episodes within the last 3 years.
I'm not quite sure how we do that, but I'm sure. Why not?
I would say we just go back, just go back through and find like your favorite episodes that we, or favorite characters that we've talked about, and just talk about just like our journey thus far going in, because our next episode is like 2 days before New Year's.
Okay.
So our next episode would be on the 30th, I believe.
We could just bring up like all the different topics that we have covered.
Yeah, so you know what? Yeah, why don't we do a super breakdown episode, and it'll be a breakdown episode, but it'll be a breakdown of the super breakdown.
Oh boy.
You see what I'm saying? It'll be a breakdown of the super breakdown, a breakdown of us, how we got started, why we got started, what we look forward to, what we're trying to accomplish by doing what we're doing. Just the overall breakdown of our show. And then we can talk about things that we also look forward doing in the future with the show. What our goals are. Just an episode that's more grounded, and that means a little bit more. We start. We can start off by talking about just like the first 5 episodes that we dropped, and stuff like that, and where it's taken us until now, and why we do what we do, what makes us want to keep doing what we're doing. Just like a breakdown episode of us and our super breakdown journey.
Yeah.
We can also talk about some of our favorite interviews that we've done as well. Some of the people that we met along the way. I think that would be a really good episode to kind of round off the year and round off our 3 years, and kind of clear the slate and open up for bigger opportunities and more possibilities going into 2025. And then we can start. Then we can do the first episode for 2025. You said you want to do Ivy next. We can do Ivy, and then after Ivy, we can do Piccolo. Because I gotta binge watch Daima, because right now Dragon Ball Daima, which is streaming right now on Netflix, they recently gave a shit ton of backstory on the Namekians and where they came from, their origins and shit like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you want to do a breakdown of Piccolo, I'm down. I just want to go through and watch these episodes of Daima, because I've been from my expert Dragon Ball Z friend. He's telling me that they just dropped a shit ton of information that was never known before about the Namekians and where they come from. Apparently, Namekians are related to the dragons.
Huh.
So, yeah, I'm very, very much so interested in that. But we will catch you guys next time. That's been a super breakdown. Remember, as always, fuck prep time. Peace.